talk about the rest of free agency that don't involve the Chicago Bears. Been a very big transaction week in the NFL. Let's talk about some winners and losers in the NFL free agency. To me, I think the two biggest winners, honestly, I love what the fucking Houston Texans are doing. I love what they're doing right now. They're really building up that defense and giving CJ Stroud all the things they want to do. You know, we've seen CJ Stroud have a rookie year that, you know, no matter what people want to say, none of us saw happening. Nobody thought he was going to be that good out the gate. And as I talked to my brother, who's a diehard Ohio State fan, he played better last year than he did, and I believe in any of his years in Ohio State. So they've really been doubling down. Got Daniil Hunter, added a couple other pieces. I really love what they're doing. I like what Philly did. I like, you know, Saquon, who I think we all wanted as Bears fans. We wanted Saquon. I think that price a little bit outside of Ryan Poles' price range. I'm not mad at DeAndre Swift. That was a real good one that I had no problem getting. But I like what the Eagles did. And, you know, as far as like losers, man, I don't know I know what the Minnesota Vikings are doing, but this motherfucker really gonna sell his soul for fucking JJ McCarthy? Like, if you're doing all of this to get into the Drake May conversation, it makes a little bit more sense to me. Like, you know, as our man Bang said, what'd you say? He's gonna be what are you gonna be coaching? Who, Bang?
Hey man, JJ McCarthy is going to be the head coach at Nazareth and LaGrange Park by the time he's 30 years old.
Biggest losers, Dallas and Baltimore. Baltimore got Derrick Henry. I don't agree with that. You know, they did lose Patrick Queen, but I will say this, Bang. Like, yeah, I just don't understand why you're doing all that to get fucking JJ McCarthy. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So I don't like what they did. I think that it's not. I don't think the Bears are going to trade them in division, obviously, but that's something I didn't like. The Dallas Cowboys doing absolutely nothing. Like, you have Jerry Jones come out there and say we're going to go all in. These motherfuckers ain't making one move. There was a couple moves that made sense to me that I thought they were going to do. I thought they would get Aaron Jones, especially him being from the Dallas area and the way that the Packers got let go of him. So I didn't like that. And I'm not going to call the Titans a loser. That's a lot of money for Calvin Ridley, and I'm not a penny pincher. I'm team full. It's not my money. But that's a lot for Calvin Ridley, I believe. And also, when I don't know what they feel about Will Levis, maybe they think he's better than what I think he's gonna be. But that's a penny for me personally. Mikey, what stood out to you? You know, you've been on the front lines of everything going on in free agency. Who's some winners and who's some losers for you over this past couple of days?
For me, man, I really like what Atlanta's doing. I mean, I know that the big question mark in the room is that Kirk Cousins is 36 coming off of, you know, the torn Achilles and you know, we're not living in the ages of back in the day where the Achilles was a career ender, you know? So I'm really liking what Atlanta did. You go ahead and you get Kirk Cousins, you pair him with Drake London, Bijan, Kyle Pitts, and then you go and you add a Rondale Moore and a Darnell Mooney. Like, you went and got Kirk Cousins some guys. They're going to be fast out on that field. You still got Tyler Algier. So I really, really like what the Falcons did in a winnable division. Like, you know, I've been going back and forth with your brother Flows about this because he keeps saying, like, they're not in a win now mode. But for sure they are. They've been building up that offense and stacking top 10 picks for the last 3-4 years. So they need to progress. So as long as Kirk Cousins is healthy.
Did he tell it to you in a real educated, I'm better than you manner, which pisses me off when he does?
Yeah. And I had to tell him, like, bro, you're not on the clock right now, brother. You know, this ain't theology 101. All right. We talking free agency, NFC South. But yeah, so I really like what the Falcons did. And then as far as you know, honestly, for me, I think the Vikings are winners in this too. Just because they've moved on from the Kirk Cousins experiment. It got them what it got them. It just didn't work. And I think now they're resetting. They added some talent on defense. That's another thing that I got into it with your brother about, because he thinks Van Ginkel and some of those guys, Jonathan Grenard, it doesn't make any sense for them. But I think it does. And from what I've been reading, what I've been seeing, they're not moving up for JJ McCarthy. They're moving up for Drake May. So if they're able to swing that, then, you know, we might have the top two quarterbacks from this year's class in the NFC North. Oh, Damien, what do I think about drafting Jared Verse? I think he's a beast, man. Shout out to my boy Debo in the chat. He's been on Jared Verse like for the last season and a half. I think for the Bears, we wanted them to address defensive line with somebody like Bryce Huff, Danielle Hunter, Jonathan Grenard. I think they have it in their mind to go and get that fucking blue chip defensive end that's only 23, 24 years old and have him for the next 4 to 5 years running crazy, and go ahead and sign him to a big contract if he takes off, and pairing him with Montez Sweat other than paying for a veteran. So I would be fine with Jared Verse. I think if you could add a Jared Verse to that defensive line with the secondary that we have, then that's just going to be a team that's playing fast. So I'm all for that. And for the people, while I'm speaking now, I got a parlay for y'all. I got a college parlay for y'all. It's conference tourney time. We're taking Damien's North Carolina Tar Heels. Okay. We're taking the Florida Atlantic Owls. We're taking the Houston Cougars, and we're taking Arizona. It's a little light parlay, plus 150, little bankroll builder. We taking that tonight. Get paid. Holla at my Twitter tomorrow for some picks, because I will be firing all day tomorrow.
Oh yeah, man, definitely got us a little parlay up in there. Bang.
That's
man.
For tonight too. Those are for tonight too. So that's for tonight.
Bang, man. Well, what's your thoughts? Who the winners and losers out of free agency to you?
I really love the Houston Texans and what they did. And it's mainly because of getting Danielle Hunter to come home. You got Hunter and Anderson, bookends. Oh, that defense is going to be nice. And they already decent in the defensive backfield too. That's the best part. Like I said on the halftime show, your defensive line is going to aid your defensive backfield. They already got it. So with that defense and with what's going on in that conference right now, they're really set up. Well, not the conference, excuse me. But archery too. But the division, they can really sew that joint up. So I love what the Texans are doing. Joe Mixon at the running back position, because that's something that they've been trying to shore up. They had drafted Dameon Pierce. He came out, did his thing, and then he got hurt last year. I think Devin Singletary was over there for a little bit, and he's not somebody that you want to rely on. So you got somebody in Mixon that you can definitely rely on. Dallas is the easy fail here. Like, they didn't do anything until Eric Kendricks was like, I think I'll slide on over there. Now, that's partly because their quarterback got this big-ass cap hit, close to $60 million. So you kind of, can't do anything. But that's a team that they don't necessarily have to go big, but their linebacker position is going to need more than what they got. And can they address that in the draft? Yeah, you probably could see somebody like Jeremiah Trotter Jr. get out there, or a couple of others. But yeah, I'm still disappointed at what they've done, because I believe that they still need help on that defensive side of the ball.
Shout out to James Teague in the chat. He said, put my parlay in. I like the money that I have, brother, so I will not be doing that. Dante, who's some winners and losers with you of free agency?
Just real quick, one of the winners, I think the NFC South is going to be a really entertaining division, because I think the Bucks are still going to win it. Bring it back Baker, bring it back Mike Evans, bring it back those key pieces on your defense. You guys, a team that was good last year, and you finally saw, Baker's biggest thing has been inconsistency. Like, he showed some flashes when he was in Cleveland before he hurt his shoulder. Same with Carolina, it was up and down. But we saw him last season. He should have won comeback player of the year, but they gave it to Flacco, which was wild as hell. But I think they're one of my winners, and I think the losers it really is Minnesota for now, until we see what they do with these picks they just added. But I think Minnesota and Dallas, you backed yourself into this corner, because one thing we always talk about, well, we never talk about it. Yeah, you can get to a point where you give people all this money and you start signing them, but eventually the salary cap does come back. You can do a lot of money flexing, money moving, but at some point it gets to a point where you got to, the rubber meets the road. So we're going to see what they do with Dak. So I think the Dallas is one of my losers. And one more loser, I would say Denver, simply because they were never supposed to be in this position in the first place. Like, you brought Sean Payton in, they were supposed to be, competing for that division, and they were terrible. So, we've got to see what they do at the quarterback position and what they do going forward. They got rid of Jerry Jeudy, who has been, disappointing for them. So I think right now, Denver, Dallas, and Minnesota are my losers.
Paper on this player haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna